Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. Is your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief, AP Gaines here, and today we're going to be talking about the complete farming guide for 2021. This is the updated farming guide. I have released the 2019 and 2020 farming guides in the past, but they have changed slightly, so this video is going to be an update. Really quickly before the video starts, if you don't want to watch any of the commentary or analysis or explanation, and you literally just want to see what teams you should farm, go to the description. I'll put a single timestamp that'll skip you to the end of the video, where I just power through really quickly. So if you just want to look at the teams, go to that timestamp. You can skip the whole video. Now, I am going to switch between two different accounts for this video to explain what you should do if you're a brand new free-to-play player, like I will show you on this account, as opposed to a Hyperdrive bundle, which I will switch over to another account, and then a mid-game player after that. So with this account, this is a free-to-play account. You can't spend lots of money. You can't get characters really fast, so you got to do everything the slow way. The name of the game is leveling up as soon as possible. Make sure you always do your dailies to get as much XP as possible. And a big important thing, how do I use my crystals if I'm a free-to-play player? Because you cannot get a lot of crystals. If you click on energy, you're allowed to buy new energy. Every day when the timer resets, usually it's about midnight unless you have changed the time, but for whatever time zone you live in, it will probably be midnight. You click on the energy. Now this says 100 because I've already done this for her, but there's 3 opportunities for you to buy more energy for 50 crystals. Whenever possible, buy it for 50 crystals, not for 100, but buy it for 50 crystals. You'll make those crystals back and it'll be no issue. Don't worry, you're going to get those crystals back, I assure you. But this allows you to do a ton more battles, leveling up faster and farming characters faster. Now, levels 1 to 60, you're not going to have much in the way of farming. You can't get the hard nodes back here, 7 and 8, and then eventually 9 for both sides. So what I'd say is farm a starting team. I've gotten to the point where I understand people are never going to stop farming Phoenix, even though they're terrible. But there's 2 possible starting teams, Phoenix or Separatists. Get 1 team to 4 stars and then stop farming. By that point, you should unlock the Bast Lashan node over here. Once you unlock the Bast Lashan node, be farming this as soon as possible. Like, for example, farm like this. And then if you have a bunch of crystals, like if you're a Hyperdrive bundle player, or you're not free to play, or you just have a bunch of crystals, you can always click here and reset this for 25 crystals and get another farm in. Farm a character, an important character like Bast Lashan, twice as fast. So that's how you're basically going to farm characters. Now I'll quickly talk about what characters to farm. If I go into, oops, wrong button. If I go into squads, I'll show you what farms I have told to the owner of this account to start farming. Once you open Bast Lashan, farm her. Ahsoka is a Cantina farm, get her up. Or not a Cantina farm, a Cantina currency farm. Old Ben Kenobi should be your very first Cantina farm. Get him up to 7 stars as soon as possible. I'll talk about why in just a little bit. Anakin's going to be your main damage dealer for your main Jedi team, so farm him up. And once you unlock that Jolie Bindo, farm him as soon as possible because he has the first Zeta that you're going to want to apply. As far as bounty hunters go, a couple days ago, we actually got Mando and Greef Karga added to the game. So they're not accelerated rate characters yet, so you're going to farm them half the speed of everyone else. So I would say start farming them because they are going to be useful. But in the meantime, with your, let me quickly back out. With your guild store currency, be farming Dangar and Zam Wessel in here as much as humanly possible so that you can get them up to 7 stars. The reason we want to get them up to 7 stars is because we use our bounty hunters for our Chewbacca event, which is super important. And if you're farming Mando Greef, they're going to take forever because they're not accelerated rate. And then the other 2 guys that we're going to use are Bosk and Jango. When you unlock the Bosk and Jango farm nodes, add them to your farms, put them super high priority. They're going to carry you through the Chewbacca event. You basically only need Bosk, Jango, and Boba to do the Chewbacca event. But they also allow you to have a powerful bounty hunter team for offense in your early stages of Grand Arena, which will allow you to get better and better rewards and never lose a Grand Arena. Now, this farming guide, if you haven't noticed already, is going to be centered around being super productive in Grand Arena. So if that's not your goal, if you're a collector and you just want to get characters who are cool, This guide is probably not for you, but you can still watch to see what other people are doing to try and be efficient. Now, like I've already stated, pick a starting team, either Phoenix or Separatist. Don't really get them past 4 stars. The reason you'll see the Poggle the Lesser is 7 stars is because if we go over to shipments and we scroll down here, you see Poggle the Lesser is farmable in Galactic War. If you get 1200 Galactic War, you get 30 Poggle shards a day. He's the fastest character to get up to 7 stars, in my opinion. Well, the fastest useful character. All of these characters are the same speed, but Cad Bane's not super useful. Zeb is negligible at best. So once you get a 7-star character, you can hop over into a guild that allows you to do raids, and you can enter raids and start getting rewards. You're not going to get fantastic awards. You're probably going to be more down here. But getting 5 Treya shards every couple weeks, especially with the guild store currency, is going to be invaluable for your farms long term. That being said, as soon as you can, try and get into a guild that does raids. The starting guilds are terrible, and if you can't find a guild or you're having trouble, hop over to my Discord server. We have a guild chat, and we can get you into a guild. Everyone's super cooperative there. Link to the Discord is going to be in the description. Now next you'll see Rebels. Now there should be an old Ben here, but he's currently over into the Jedi team. So Rebels are super important. Oops, let me switch over here so we can see all the Rebels. Rebels are going to be super important because they allow you to get the Commander Luke Skywalker event done. The Rebels required for that are the ones highlighted: Old Ben Kenobi, Princess Leia, Farm Boy Luke, Stormtrooper Han, and actually I'll do this for her, R2-D2. Now you want to get these guys to 7 stars pretty quickly so that you can prepare for the Commander Luke Skywalker event. R2-D2, you need to have Empire at 7 stars, which will take slightly longer, but are not in any stretch of the imagination a long farm. So once you get R2-D2 plus the 4 of these, you can hop into the Commander Luke Skywalker event, and then Commander Luke Skywalker will be your main leader for your Rebel team. So just to recap everything, or if you missed something, basically from level 1 to level 85, you're going to be farming a couple of important teams. That will be your Jedi under a Bastila Shan lead. Make sure you also farm Jolie Bindo. He has one of the best Zetas. A Rebels team that we'll use to unlock Commander Luke Skywalker, and a Bounty Hunter team which you'll use to unlock Chewbacca. Now the reason these 3 teams I think are the core of any free-to-play early game player is because Jedi do massive damage and have great survivability for events, PvE events that you might need, as well as banner usefulness in Grand Arena in the future. Same with Bounty Hunters. They do lots of damage. They help you get Chewbacca, which is one of the best characters in the game, as well as providing perfect banners in Grand Arena every single time. Rebels, Commander Luke Skywalker, with that Chewbacca you use your Bounty Hunters to unlock, plus Han Solo, who you will get with raids. 3-man in Grand Arena is also high banners. So all the teams that I tell you to start farming are for Grand Arena. Now, I choose to farm offensive teams as opposed to defensive teams because I know if you get more banners than your opponent, you win every time. So you don't have to pray that you can get holds. Instead, you just know in advance that you're going to have enough offensive firepower to win every single week. All right, so we switched over accounts. Now I'm going to talk about what you should do right off the bat if you are a Hyperdrive bundle player. Now, it's fairly similar to what you're going to do as a free-to-play player. It's just you're going to be able to do it a little bit quicker without having to suffer through that early game level 1 to 50 stage where you have to choose between Separatist and Phoenix. Now, let me just hop in. I made a Hyperdrive flowchart. I've done this in a bunch of my old guides. You're going to notice a bunch of relics and stuff like that. It's just because these characters are useful long term. Same sort of thing. You have your core bounty hunter, not bounty hunter team. You do have your bounty hunter team, but your core Jedi team that's going to be basically the brunt of your offense on Grand Arena. And then this is probably the first full 7-star team you're going to have as a bounty hunter squad. That Zeta on Bosk is super important. Definitely a top 5 Zeta for Hyperdrive bundle players, because it allows you to regain health and protection, which makes you max banners on offense. Like I said in the previous section about Zam, Wessel, and Dengar, they're faster than Mando and Grief, who I have on this account, but they're faster to 7 stars. So get these 2 so that you can go to the Chewbacca event. You see there's no Chewbacca here. How come? Because these are the characters you need to get Commander Luke Skywalker. So this part is going to be the same, but what we're going to do now is we're going to have a Padme team. Because we start off at level 85, we can quickly get into all of the legendary events. So what we're going to do is if we farm up our Jango and our Newt, we can 2-man the Padme event. That's 7 stars. I have a guide. Newt Gunray, Django, 2-man the 7-star Padme event. It's probably my most watched video at this point, so go check it out. But Padme is a fantastic leadership. Once you unlock her, throw both Zetas on her. She's super good. You should already have Anakin. You should already have Ahsoka. And if you're farming the characters in the raids, you should eventually have General Kenobi. Now, these are the 4 core pieces of the Padme team. The 5th is often interchangeable. Some people will use C-3PO. Some people will use maybe Grandmaster Yoda if they take him away from a Jedi team. Some people even throw in like a relic R2-D2 for some reason to put foresight on everyone and stealth, and then just make GK the only possible target. That 5th slot is definitely something that you can play around with as you progress. Now, this team down here is a little weird. I just wanted to quickly talk about this. Lots of people need more high banner offensive teams as they progress through Division 11, 10, 9, 8. And an Emperor Palpatine lead with Bastila Shan and a weaker even Thrawn. Like, I still don't even level up Thrawn because he doesn't gain a ton of usefulness as you give him more gear. But this team can stun lock an entire back wall team, giving you more banners. Now, something I quickly want to talk about is the Geonosians. Now, if I hop in here, I'll make a squad. You guys get to see this live. How exciting. Geonosians, boom. We actually want Sunfac to go next. Boom, boom. I messed that up. All right, so we have a Geonosian squad here. Now, Geonosians are going to be fantastic for your defense in the early game. There's only a couple of teams that can actually beat them because they do so much damage with all of their assists, and they regain health and protection because they equalize their health and protection. Now, the 2 possible early game counters you're going to have are either someone's going to whale, not even whale, but just allocate all of their resources on a Darth Vader, who can, with 3 Zetas, solo pretty much any Geonosian team. Or they're going to use their Padme, which they'll have to save for offense, and even that still needs to be pretty strong with a high-powered Anakin to defeat Geonosians on the back wall. Or they'll have Traya, whose leadership Zeta basically just makes the Geonosians useless. But since Traya takes kind of a long time to farm up through raids, this is not going to be an early game immediate counter to Geonosians, which is why you'll see even now my Geonosian Brood Alpha is only 4 stars. Because I just have other things that I need to farm. There's not really a super big advantage to getting him up to 7 stars as opposed to just 4 stars. I still throw him on my back wall. He still gets hold because I use Padme and a couple other teams in the front like Mon Mothma to bait out Padmes and Treyas and all that stuff, Darth Vaders. So by the time they get to the back wall, like if they didn't save a Darth Revan or like some super, super relicked out team to beat a Geonosian squad, it can get holds or even like prevent your opponent from full clearing you. Now, just to quickly illustrate what kind of teams you should have at about 2.5 million GP. This is one of my accounts. It has 2.5 million GP. A Darth Vader, high relic, high Zeta is great for solos. As you know, I love GAC, and getting those 64 banners every time against even powerful teams is super important to have. Pretty bare bones Darth Revan team, if you ask me, but still does good damage on offense, still does all right on defense. I'm trying to get him up to relics, but I've been working on some other stuff because of the new Mando that just came out. I'm trying to make videos about that. Traya, you always 3-man, and once you get Relic Scion, you 2-man against Geos. Fantastic. Great for banners against a really annoying team. This is how I throw together my Jedi Knight Revan team. I actually don't even use them on offense that much because I never really need them. But they're nice to have. Some more relics on Jedi would be better, of course, but they're not resources that I'm particularly keen to allocate at the moment. CLS, try to get relics on, I think Chewbacca was actually my first relic, and then Han Solo, or first relic for this account, rather. Chewbacca and Han Solo do massive damage. If you get CLS up to gear 12, he's beefy enough to survive, and then with the recovery and the extra attacks, these guys will 3-man shred anything. I throw C-3PO in there sometimes to fight Darth Revan, stuff like that. 3PO and Chewie is actually a fantastic character. If you're, let's say you're around 2 million to 3 million GP and you're like, hey man, I need a CLS boost, go for 3PO Chewie. This is still the team I use on offense because my Grief is kind of, well, actually, I use Grief from time to time. He's just actually not in my squad at the moment. I just deselect Angar, throw Grief in there. But usually with the bounty hunters, I just use the core 3-man, and I'll only bring in Mando if there's one specific beefy character like a Nest or like a crew that just takes forever to kill and you want to be able to disintegrate him. This is the Padme team. I don't relic them up super high. Lots of people I go against will have like a couple of teams that are just super, super highly relicked. I try to spread my relics out so that my GP doesn't get bloated. Also, it gives me more viability across the entire Grand Arena board as opposed to just stuck into one team that have to choose to either place on offense or defense. My clones are pretty bare bones. I use them on defense because they don't get great banners on offense because, well, I mean, one AoE and you lose all your banners. You can maybe heal up one guy and only lose 4 banners, but I throw them on defense because they do high amounts of damage and they don't need to have full health and protection on defense, do they? As you see, Geos, I always put them on my back wall. I still don't even have Brood up to 4 stars. Like, these guys are all gear 7 and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter. A pretty bare bones Separatist team with a low Grievous. I use them just to strip a couple of banners on my front wall. Phoenix, I don't do much with them. If I throw them on defense, it's because I'm saving extra stuff for offense because, I mean, Darth Vader, Malik, pretty much anything solos these guys, so they're not fantastic. Ewoks, I throw them on defense. They actually get surprising amount of holds, to be fair, which is kind of funny. A Karth OR team, they're just here because I need to remind myself that I eventually need to get Malik, but I'm too lazy to put the gear into them to get them all to the galactic power threshold, and I don't want to throw Zetas on them. I'm going to use this Mon Mothma team. I keep telling myself I'm going to gear them up eventually, but once I do, they'll be a powerful backwall defensive team alongside my Geos. And then an Imp Trooper team. Eventually, when I get around to it, I will put together this team, and all things will be good. They get high banners against a lot of stuff. All right, so if you've clicked this to skip the whole video, welcome. If you watched the whole video, welcome again. I don't know. Sorry. Flowchart. Okay. Let's say you're a Hyperdrive or you're free to play. It doesn't matter. From start to finish, these are the teams you should go for. First off, your core Jedi team at the beginning of the game. If you've played at all, this should be pretty self-explanatory, but basically, best to lead, very good Zeta, high damage, need for CLS, and just useful. Bounty Hunter team, if you notice, there's no grief for Mando, because at this point, they're not accelerated rate yet, so they're slower to farm. Get these guys to 7 stars because you use this team to get Chewbacca. This is your best team. When you use them on offense, you'll probably only 3-man because they get high banners. Empire, these characters are super fast to get to 7 stars. You use them to get R2-D2. Once you have R2-D2, you have all these other guys. You use these guys to get CLS. Now, if we go back, the Bounty Hunters get you Chewbacca, and you get Han Solo in a raid. High-powered offensive team. New Gunray lead plus a strong Jango will 2-man the Padme Amidala 7-star event. That gets you Padme. You already have your Jedi Knight Anakin raid character right here. C-3PO you can inject once you have Ewoks, or you can inject anyone else at this point. Plus, you already have Ahsoka with the Zeta to do assists every time someone does an ability. Then you go Jedi Knight Revan. You already have all of these other characters. I throw Ezra in because he just has assists. Normally, I don't even bring in a 3rd or 4th. This is usually, I just use them 2-man, and then I use these other 2 as a separate team. So I can get 2 63 banner teams. But if you want to throw them all together, Jedi Knight Revan team. If you have Hoda, put Hoda in here. If not, someone who can assist like Ezra. Triumvirate will beat your Geos. Darth Revan will basically be a strong defensive team or a powerful offensive team if you can get them up to relics. Now, I always forget to do this, and yes, I know this is not the order that they should be deployed into battle. Oh my god. But use your Geos. I know this is not the order they should be deployed in, but a Geo team, make sure they're kind of weak. You don't want to spend too many resources on them, but put them on your back wall. They will get you holds, especially early game. Even late game if you can bait out the Padme and the Traya and the Darth Revan early. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.